DK Metcalf, as like I said, suspended for 2 games. He will appeal for swinging at that fan. Can I start here? I hate this fan.
Yeah.
Like, just like, what is wrong with your life when, like, this is your identity? As, like, the guy who goes, to Lions games and, like, gets into it with players on the other team and, like, tries to make yourself the story. Like, you have nothing else going on in your life than to, like, try and screw with DK Metcalf. Like, I hate this guy. Of course he did. He's going to start doing interviews, I'm sure, too. I mean, wait for the lawsuit, because that's probably coming.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll end up on a podcast or whatever happens to these people. Yeah, the whole thing is just stupidity. And obviously, the league has to do this, because you can't have a player, whatever the reason is, and there's alleged stuff that's out there that I understand why DK Metcalf would have done what he did or did what he did, but you just can't have players touching fans. So I understand why the league suspended him. Not here to be did the league get it right? Who cares? I don't know. But yeah, it's loser behavior from this fan. It really is.
It's
unfortunate.
I mean, I don't know what this fan said to DK Metcalf.
Yeah. It's all alleged. We don't know.
There are varying reports. The fan claims he called, I don't even know what DK Metcalf's actual name is, but he called him by his government name. And
I think DeKalin, I believe, is his actual name.
Yeah, I can't imagine that DK Metcalf would want to. I don't know what happened. I am not saying that he's a liar, that the fan is a liar. I don't know. It's hard to imagine that DK Metcalf would get that mad to take a swing at the guy for saying his name. Maybe he is, though. I don't know. There have been other reports that the reports don't say that it was something racial. I guess they kind of allude to it, right? Something you don't say to a black man was what it was said, and people can use their imaginations. And said something about Metcalf's mom, which you do deserve to get punched in the face if you say stuff like that. If you're Metcalf, and I don't want to police this or turn this into that, why are you even going over to engage with this person?
Yeah.
And that's where you have to know better if you're DK Metcalf.
Got to tell security, hey, that guy's being a nuisance. Get him out of here. He's crossing a line beyond heckling, because heckling happens at every single professional sporting event. You're a bum or whatever. That's whatever. That's just sports fans being sports fans. But when you cross lines like that, that's where it's you do hey, they need to get this guy out of here, because this is just not a good person. I don't care if it's for sports fandom, has the Honolulu blue hair or whatever he had going on. Just get him out of here. Because even if you're sitting next to that person, do you want to be near someone like that? It's it ruins the experience for everyone. So yeah, hopefully he's banned for NFL games for life, because he needs to not be allowed.
I would hope that's the case. My sense is that Metcalf will play in Week 18. This will probably get knocked down to a 1-game suspension. Yeah. I'm guessing. They start with 2. He appeals. It'll get knocked down to 1. And he'll miss Sunday's game in Cleveland against the Browns. And I guess now it gives us an opportunity to talk about the Steelers. Pretty shocked by that performance yesterday by Pittsburgh. The fact that the Lions had an opportunity to win this game at the end was crazy to me. The Steelers dominated that game from start to finish yesterday in Detroit.
Yeah, and it's I said this in the 3 o'clock hour. This wasn't your typical voodoo Steelers win, where somehow they magically they win the game 16-14. No, 481 yards of offense. They were moving the ball up and down the field, and I understand Detroit's secondary is completely banged up. They've been ravaged by injuries this entire season. But you got to give the Steelers credit for that victory. Rodgers indoors, he looked pretty spry. I mean, Darnell Washington. Do you want to tackle that guy? That dude's insane, man. He's turned into a weapon. That's not even to mention Jaylen Warren with what he was able to do on the ground. That was a really good performance. And what's really impressive about this is that 2 weeks ago, when TJ Watt had the unfortunate lung issue, we all talked about how hey, this team never wins without TJ Watt. How about 2-0 without TJ Watt? And I don't know when he's coming back, because the Sunday morning news dump reports and all that stuff, it was sounding like this could be maybe end of season, maybe playoffs or so when he returns. So they might be without Watt again in Cleveland on Sunday.
The line that they used, right, was that he's and fair enough, right? Less focused on football and more focused on his long-term health, which you have a lung issue that requires surgery. I mean, you can certainly understand where he's coming from.
100%. So it's obviously hopefully he gets well soon, is all back up to speed. But yeah, like they're doing this without him and without Nick Herbig. So they were shorthanded and they had their own injuries as well, just like the Lions did. Maybe not as much, but key ones with TJ Watt being their best defensive player. And they went in there against a team that was pretty desperate for a victory, and they outplayed them from start to finish. And if not for that Boswell missed field goal, we're probably not talking about the 2 offensive pass interferences that were called at the end of the sequence there to end the game.
You bet on this Monday. Is Kenny Gainwell's catch at the... Because there's so many crazy things in this game. Like the Gainwell catch, if the end of the game doesn't happen, and we can kind of talk about where I felt like it was pretty obvious OPI on Amon-Ra St. Brown on that final play of the game. Mm-hmm. And I had the Lions in a teaser which lost, and if they get that score, they'll go... I guess they wouldn't have gone for 2 because there was no time left, basically.
What about that one?
Borderline, the one on Tesla?
Yeah, I've seen some people say, like, oh, like the defender kind of shoved him.
What did you think?
In real time, like the first replay, I was like, oh, okay, that's OPI. But like now that I've seen it like at a different angle, I'm like I'm not like outraged for Detroit. I'm like, whatever. Like these, like sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But like it was a little bit more gray area than I initially thought. Like when they first showed the replay on the broadcast, I was like, oh yeah, OPI. And then like now on Twitter, like of course, like a lot of Lions fans are now showing these different angles. I'm like, okay, I can at least hear out the argument that maybe it was a little bit ticky-tack.
The St. Brown one I thought was...
Oh, yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, you ran and pushed him.
It's the most... And it would have been like a really cool... Also, like his forward progress was stopped. I'm not trying to be a hate. It was a really fun play. It's the most obvious OPI call of all time. Did Jalen Ramsey sell it a little bit? Yes. Also, it's offensive pass interference. Like, come on.
Yeah, I just love the who was it? Is it Walt Coleman or who? It's one of the Walts, right? That was the head official. That was like the ruling on the field is a touchdown. However,
dude,
it's not because
this is where I'm like, is Puka Nacua right? Like he did that. Like this is like Vince McMahon. Like you will get the WWF Championship match, but not tonight. He literally started by going, the ruling on the field is a touchdown, and like the crowd goes insane. He said, well, actually, let me tell you why it's not a touchdown, even though I just told you it is a touchdown to start. Yes. Like, he literally should have started by saying, the game is over. It was a touchdown, but X, Y, and Z. That way, like, the crowd knows.
He says the ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Except it wasn't.
It's like, but because of offensive pass interference, the game is over. Because like at first I was like, wait, it's not untimed down, and I texted you guys, but then Bill was in the chat was like, oh, like no, because it's offensive penalty. I was like, oh, that's right, duh. Because like in any event, you could just like commit a penalty to try to keep a game going. So yeah, defensive penalties are the ones where you get the untimed down, not offensive penalties. But yeah, it was. He's a showman. I guess we can call him that. That's for sure. But man, brutal loss for Detroit though. That's a brutal season. Injuries aside, like feels like one where there's like a game against the Vikings where they're going to want that game back, where they lose to JJ McCarthy at home. Just didn't seem like they had it this year. And I thought this team had a Super Bowl ceiling, and they're going to be on the outside looking in, barring the Packers losing out and them winning out.